Happy Thursday, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Susie Say That. Today's topic is take action. That means to do something, to get a result. If you don't do anything, you're going to get the same result. It's true. To do the same thing and get the same result is just not the right way to live. I'm not going to use other words, but I'm just going to tell you it's not the right way to live. How many of us have lived like that? I have. I did nothing and I got the same thing. And I thought that if I keep going that path, I was taking action, but I was taking action to the same stuff and I was getting the same results. We're supposed to take action and get a different result, not the same result. No, that's not the way we should live our lives. Getting the same result and not getting anything out of it. Nothing out of it. You're not getting any lessons out of it. You're not getting any information to help you. You're just taking action and not getting anything for it. We do it all the time. We do. We take action on the wrong things and then we get the wrong things, and we take action sometime on the right things, but we do it the wrong way and we don't get the result that we expected. Take action is very important in our lives. It really is. We take action every day. Every morning when you wake up to go to your job, you take an action. When your employer asks you to do something, you take an action. And you take an action to win because that's your job and you're getting some out of it, right? But what about your life? What about your life? When you take action, do you get a different result? You're the one that's taking action. Do you get a different result, or do you get the same result because you're doing the same thing when you take action? That's a problem. It's a problem for me, you, and all of us. We got to think different. We got to have different expectations about ourselves. And I'm talking to you all because I've learned so many life lessons about not taking action. I have a perfect example about taking action and going all the way through with it. My grandson and I were at getting air in all my tires, and we were there and just talking, and we had been talking about a job for about a couple of weeks now. I kept praying with him, and his mom kept praying with him, and he needs a job because he likes to spend money and he has expensive taste. He like a $400 one of them hoodie things. He likes those. He likes those those $400 on sale. He likes expensive things. He really does. It's just he's always been like that. He's always liked clothes and certain things since he was a little boy. Okay, so that's not nothing new. However, expensive things like that, his mama just ain't gonna buy. His mama take good care of him. She sends him money. She takes care of his food. But one thing she ain't gonna do, and that's my daughter, she is not gonna pay no $400 for no hoodie. She ain't paying $200 because she thinks it's ridiculous. She's not going to do that. And guess who else thinks that? Me. I'll pay for what I like if it's now I believe in expensive things, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to pay for a hoodie because that ain't my thing. Will I pay $400 for other things? Yes, but it's going to be fashion. It ain't going to be all that other stuff. I'll pay $400 for fashion because it ain't never going out of style. I'm still wearing the same things that I wore back in the day because it's fashion, okay? Just to insert that in. But taking action with me and him. So he asked the woman, were they hired? And the woman says, well, two people just quit. And he says, okay. And she says, okay. She said, but you can fill out an application online or you can go to the store and get one. And he says, okay. So he's like, okay, I'll do it when I get home. I'll do the application. So I said to him, when we get in the car, I was like, I got a feeling. I said, I got a feeling that you're going to get this job. I said, but I need for you to do something. He said, what? I said, as soon as we get home, you're going to do it. Then it struck me again. And I said, no, I got to go in the store and get a few items. I'm going to ask them for an application. He said, okay. And I went in the store, and after I got done getting my things, I went up to the line and I said, because people was in front of me and I waited. And then I said, hi. I said, are you guys hiring? And she says, she said, we will be in May. And I said, my grandson. And then I began to tell her about his characteristics. I said, he's looking for a job. He likes to work and he's not working right now. I said, and he has to have a job. And I said, he's real quiet. He don't talk a lot. And she was like, what's his name? And I gave her his name because they see me all the time in this particular grocery store. They actually know me. I'm sure they see me all the time on their camera because that's how many times I go a week. But anyhow, she says, okay. She said, yeah. She said, I said my name. She asked my name, and I told her, who my name was, and et cetera, et cetera. So then she says, have him do the application online, and then I'll take his name because I gave her his name. She said, and I'll call him. I said, okay. So we do the application. As soon as we get home, I said, you got to do it right now. I feel that you need to do it now. And I said, you know, God is all over me about this, and I believe he's going to give you this job. And he was like, okay. So we started talking about the videos I do. And I said, I want to do a video on this when you get the job, okay? I said, and what should we name it? He said, Take Action. Because you took action, and then I took action by asking the question. I said, oh, that's such a good topic. Take action. And he said, okay, so we get home. I said, go ahead and do it right now. So he did it. And then a couple of days after that, we were in the grocery store, and he said, where's that lady? And I said, that's her. I pointed out, I said, that's her. Go up there and get your job. So he goes up there, and he tells the lady about his grandmother told him that, gave him his name, etc., etc. And she said, okay, let me pull your application. She said, I'll pull your application. She said, what about before I even pull it? And she went on to pull it, I guess, because she was back there typing. I guess that's what she did. We didn't ask. But then she says, oh, can you come Saturday at noon for an interview? And I said, I was back there, being a proud grandmother, just smiling. And then he was smiling. And I mean, I was just, and she was laughing. And she said, your grandmother says you're real quiet. And he says, yes. She said, keep it like that. I see he's been like that all his life. And she said, yeah, keep it like that. So she said, see you Saturday at 12. So he goes at 12 to do his interview. He was at his dad's or wherever. He was at his dad that weekend. And I say to him, I called his mom. He wouldn't answer his phone. I was like, I hope this dude took action and went and got his job. His mom, she was traveling. So she was like, I don't know, I can't get in contact with him either. I said, oh, I hope this dude. So Sunday he gets home, and I said, did you go to your interview? He said, yes, and she hired me. I said, look at God. Look at your God. See your God for yourself, because you know this was all God. Think about how it all happened. He orchestrated everything, from me going to get the air in the tires, from you speaking up for yourself. I said, and me going into the grocery store just get a few items and just taking action. Take action. When God is speaking to you to take action, and you are a person of God, a follower of Christ, and he's telling you to take action, do it right then. Immediately, unless he's talking with you about short-term goals, long-term goals. But if God is telling you, go right now, you need to get up and go. You need to call someone and say, hey, I feel God is speaking to me right now. So what if you missed it? Because if God sometimes is telling you to do something, could he be asking you just to be obedient? Because when you got there, it wasn't what you thought it was. Because you're thinking on your own perception. You're thinking of your own feelings and emotions. But what about God telling you to take action? He said, I'll open up the gates, the windows of heaven, and pour you out blessings that you don't have room to receive. But not if you're not taking action. If he's telling you he needs you to do this and do that, and a lot of different things, or just stand still and know he's God. That's taking action, right? That's another scripture. Stand still and know that I'm God. Okay? But take action. Take action over your life. You're the one that's going to win. You are the one that's in back of God, assisting him in taking care of your life. But you got to take action. That's for me, you, and all of us. We have to take action, and we can't wait to take action. We need to do it immediately. As soon as God is speaking to us, those that followers of Christ, he's speaking to us, we need to take action. And so what if it wasn't what we thought it was? We obeyed. God would prefer, and he wants us to obey him rather than give him sacrifices. He wants us to obey. Obeying is number one. See how when he put it in my spirit that my grandson, he knows how my grandson has been worried about a job. He likes to spend. He likes his own money. So he knows that he's God, but he wanted to show my grandson something, because I already believe that about God. But he wanted to show him something. And then see how my grandson came up with a topic for this video? Take action. Because God's not only talking to my grandson, he's talking to you. He's talking to me. He's telling all of us we need to take action when he says take actions. We don't need to wait. If he's saying do it tomorrow, you do it tomorrow. He said, I need for you to do it tonight. I mean, I've been coming home many a times at night, and God would tell me, and I know it's God, turn off. Someone's following you. And I'll turn off and go a whole different way home. Protecting me from the evil one that's always lurking around, seeing who he can devour. You know why? Because he knows most of us won't obey God. He knows when we hear God's voice, we're going to do what we want to do, and it gets us in trouble over and over again. And I've been in a lot of trouble in my life. I've learned a lot of life lessons. So as soon as God speaks to me, whatever way, I'll obey, because I don't want to be in no more trouble. I'm too old for all that trouble. I'm going to live a good life with God. Yes, am I going to have issues? Am I going to have problems that come up against me? Absolutely. We live in a hopeless, broken, sick world. So we're going to always have things going on. But I'd rather obey my God in this hopeless, broken, sick world than obey this world that can't offer me nothing but hopelessness, brokenness, and sickness. That's all this world can offer us. But if we take action, when our God is telling us to take action, he promised to protect us. He said, if you walk right before me, I will not hold any good thing from you. That's the word. Okay? That's the word. Look it up for yourself. But just remember that. Take action. This weekend is going to be marvelous. You're going to have a great time tomorrow, most of us. And, you know, if you believe or you don't believe or whatever, but if you feel in your spirit that there's a good voice that's speaking to you, and you feel, because listen here, the enemy would tell us it's good till we get out there, and then we'll find out it ain't good. Make sure it's the word. Make sure that it aligns with the Bible or the other great historical documents that's out here. Make sure that it aligns with that. If it doesn't, don't you take action. And then if it's God telling you to take action is not what you think it should be, hey, he must think you need a lesson. He know you need a lesson. It's all about obeying him. Maybe he wants to see if you're going to do it anyhow. Maybe he wants to see if you're going to obey him because you love to give sacrifices to him. All these praises and money and stuff, but you want to obey him in the simplest things. Come on, you guys. Take action. Okay? Till the next time.